Hey, Colin.
Yeah, Cadence.
Do you like media and entertainment that's badass?
Durr.
Do you like media and entertainment that's bitchin'?
Yeah.
And how about a little bonkers?
Hills, yeah, throw that in there.
Then I think you might like this thing called the Baywatch Rewatch.
Oh, God. Are you trying to promote the podcast I'm actively doing with you right now?
A little bit. Is it working?
Cool intro. All right, well.
Let's get started.
Let's get into it, guys. Hi, it's Colin.
And Cadence.
And we're back with episode 8.
This is going to be another download.
This is going to be another download, you guys. We're condensing this shit for you. So
we're going to be condensing this like Malk.
Condensed Malk. Last episode was the best episode where we met Jenna and the whole Mitch plot hole thing, you guys. Cadence and I are
we still don't know where Mitch is.
We still don't know where Mitch is. We don't know where he just got on that plane, and who knows? He's
definitely not in Hawaii.
We're still like hardcore giggling about that, guys.
You don't have to watch anything else, but please just watch this clip of Mitch running up the stairs.
It might not make sense. I showed it to Alex, and he's like, "I do not get it," and I'm like, "It's just bizarre. Everything about it's bizarre."
Yeah, I showed it to Jed, and he was just like, "Yeah, I guess it's funny," and I'm like, he's like just leaving. This is how they write him off the show.
They wrote him off the show.
I'm gonna call the governor, bye.
Well, things have been good. It's like entering Christmas time, so Christmas is around the corner, and I'm freaking obsessed with Christmas.
I hate Christmas.
I don't know how you could do that. Le Grinche. I love Christmas. It's like five Christmas trees in my house. Christmas trains everywhere. Only drink eggnog. Only Christmas music. I start Christmas on October 31st.
Oh no, we had to come to an agreement in our house not to start Christmas music until December 1st. That's the rule.
Yeah.
And even for a very long time, the rule was you couldn't even play Christmas music like while I was home until like the week of Christmas. If I wasn't home, do whatever you want. But wow. I don't even want to hear it.
Fun Grinch.
That's what Jed calls me too. But like, I make it fun for the kids or whatever. But oh man, I just don't like all the weird like faux happiness and like, oh, we all feel so good towards mankind and we all have this like fake deadline by which we have to be kind and good people and show compassion. It's just dumb.
Well,
manufactured.
Katie's got something she needs to work through.
I've worked through it. I'm on the other side of it. And I realized that I don't like Christmas.
I love it. I actually just like the snow and I like being cold.
One time someone literally in our family who will remain nameless, they were like, they sent me like a private message and they're like, I just don't know what happened to you. You used to be such a kind and loving person. And I don't know what happened to you. Why do you hate Christmas? And I'm like, I'm still a kind and loving person. I just don't like Christmas. Like, what does this have to do with the rest of my personality?
It's just because people don't know that it's rare to have somebody say that. I've definitely met people in my life that do not like Christmas, especially people who have birthdays in December.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Other El Grinches.
Well, maybe I'll find all my people and have like a yearly festival with all my El Grinches.
What we're going to do is, so last episode we kind of walked through full episode 14 where we met Jenna and a lot of things happened with that whole Sean thing. The ending of episode 14 left us like, what?
Where we traveled through space and time.
It's like we connected on DMT. It was bizarre. But that episode is really good. And so now we're going to kind of like do another condensing of a couple episodes.
And then, trust us, you're going to be grateful because I truly believe the writers were just like, you know what? I'm out.
I think they checked out. I think at season 10 of Baywatch, when they decided to go to Hawaii, I think the writers just checked out at that point.
I just imagine the writers like rolling in every day at like 3:30. They're like super hungover. They're just like, I don't know, dude.
About,
like just
a treasure
like
hunt.
maybe
How about another
just
treasure hunt?
flashbacks, flash forwards. Like you don't even have to write dialogue. Just make everything super slow, and it'll take up 40 minutes.
Put boobs, and boobs, and montages of boobs everywhere on the beach for literally half an hour sometimes.
There's literally
it's just half an hour of
montage
boobs.
In this episode where there's a girl in a bikini doing like scissor kicks on the beach, like Pilates scissor kicks.
I know she's not even really on anything. She kind of just is on the sand doing Pilates kicks. Oh my gosh, do you remember Galad?
Do I remember freaking Galad? Mom made us do Galad every day when we were homeschooled. So
Galad.
First, we should say we were very, 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 very not economically sound.
We was poor as
like
shit.
our family.
We was poor as shit. But we've all moved past that. It made us better people. And
so we're on the other side of it. But because of that, like we didn't have TV or things like definitely not cable, like nothing like that. So my mom would find someone who had cable, who had like ESPN, or because some of the channels had like regular exercise programs, and so she would hit those people up. She would take a VHS over to their house. She would record like a week's worth of Galad, who was a specific exercise
Where
guru.
was he from? Wasn't he from like Austria? Wasn't he like really hardcore like Austrian or something?
He was definitely like European, but I cannot. I'll have to look him up. Some kind of
like Eastern European.
And he was always doing workouts on the beach with his little beach
that's
mats.
why I'm on this tangent, because it just reminds me of Galad with his people working out on those weird round mats.
I was just gonna say they're those round beach mats. So we were homeschooled as well, which is part of this because we needed to do PE somehow, and so that was Mom's solution. Was every single day our PE was doing a Galad workout in the living room, and they're burned into my mind.
I just remember him yelling at us. And all the spandex and like all
those high tops.
It was always like, it was the peak of 80s workout videos. It was
we'll have to find him and post it on Instagram.
He probably was on a beach in Hawaii. He probably was using the same beach that Mitch was going after. Anyway, that's just kind of funny. But yeah, so a lot of these episodes, literally, I think they just the writers like kind of spaced out. And so we do have multiple episodes where literally there's maybe not even a page, like maybe half a page of dialogue. And it's mostly montages of stuff. So anyway, we're going to condense it up for you a little bit again today. Condenser. Gobble glarblar. I still always love gobble glarblar.
It's gobble goffle.
Gobble goffle.
Specifically trying to say gobble gobble motherfucker. That's what it came from. And I got ahead of myself. So it's gobble goffle.
Oh, by the way, you guys, let us know how you felt about Thanksgiving. I want to hear some feedback. I've heard some feedback from some people. It is bizarre. We gave you a disclaimer, so I just want to hear should we do something else like that? Oh, we need to do like a Christmas one too. We need to do like a really good Christmas.
Oh yeah, we do. We have a couple of options for the Christmas, but we haven't narrowed it down yet. Whatever it is, I promise it's gonna be good.
There's so many good ones. All right, let's jump into it. So last episode we've watched the full episode through is episode 14. We met Jenna. Lines in the Sand, which is also lines in Sean's head with sand.
Her body lines.
I was seriously trying to go somewhere with that. Her body lines in his head. And they had this weird connection, and she introduces herself as we don't fully know, head of North Shore Security, Doctor of the Sea. But she has a briefcase, so we know she means business. And again, Mitch bounced, and that's just where it is right now.
We are going to start with episode 15, The Hero. And you might be asking yourself, or rather I should say by the end of the summary, you might be like, who was the hero?
Who was that hero?
I'm just here to tell you that there's no answer. The hero is you. The hero is in your mind and heart.
Yes, we still are not sure. Maybe Mitch, but he's gone. We don't know who the hero is.
The hero is you for listening. So we start with the cold open.
That was like kind of
always.
cold and kind of like the heroes you for listening. Have a great one. Bye.
And we're
we
done.
really
We're
do
out. Bye.
value us listening, so thank you very much. We were not trying to be condescending or mean.
I meant that in a very kind way.
Good for you guys for listening. You're real heroes.
Why don't you just pat yourselves on the freaking back? Good job. We start in where the hub of all the action is, which is at Miko's desk.
And we have a lot of questions about, oops, I just got really loud. We have a lot of questions about Miko. She's that receptionist that we briefly talked about before. And
you know that
she
she's
might
the
actually be
studious
the hero.
receptionist because she's got glasses on. So
But still in her bathing suit because she can't wear normal business clothes.
Which also makes me so confused. Well, because maybe she is a hero, because in really hot climates, you know how it's like you're outside and you're dying of heat stroke, but then inside it's like 50 degrees because the AC is on a full blast and you need a jacket. And so she has to sit at that desk all day in that yellow bathing suit, and she's probably freaking freezing.
She's probably so cold, but they do not let her wear normal clothes or even put on a sweater. So
if it's like a exercise in like empathy, like
team
all
building.
all the other teammates have to wear this, so now you have to know what it feels like too. I
And
can't
also,
really figure out the logic.
Is she like doubling as a lifeguard too? Like just in case they need a last minute lifeguard?
Is she in a bathing suit?
Just
if they need an extra pair of hands.
She takes off that headset and just dives in the water. She's ready to go. But she also
or maybe there's like a zip line from the because she's like on a second floor, so she just zips down into the water.
She orders the office lunch, but she also orders a dose of life saving. I want to know Miko's backstory. We should know more about her.
A woman of many talents.
So
she calls.
What?
I just didn't want to talk at the same time. Okay, so Miko is doing her job. She is working like a little worker bee, and she catches.
That's me typing. That's my typing noise because we don't know how to add sound. So. Hello, yes, this is Miko. Welcome to the Baywatch.
I wasn't 100% sure. I thought you were doing Morse code there for a second.
She could be. Who knows?
So she catches Jason and Kakoa and Numi. They're on the Scarab. And Numi, great to see you, bud.
Hi,
Don't know where you've been for
back.
the last few episodes, but I'm always happy to see your
He's
little
exhausted
because
the last time we saw him, he literally saved up the blowing up boat. So he's probably been recovering for that.
He's like, I gotta rest, you guys. I gotta
for
regroup.
A long time.
So he's out on the Scarab, and they get a call from Miko, and it turns out that there's a group of surfers who are out past the surf line, and the waves are too big for them to come back in. So they save the surfers, and in the process, because these waves are massive, one of the surfers' boards, it snaps, and
we
say
we being Kakoa and Jason saved the surfers.
Jason, yeah, Numi just dropped them off. He drove the boat and was like, "Okay, guys."
Dropped them off. Now it's Jason and Kakoa. So Jason and Kakoa saved these surfers that are past the surf
they bring
line.
them to the shore. And they're on the beach now. Everybody's been saved.
And these surfers are so mad. They're just like yelling at Kakoa and Jason, "You broke my surfboard. You're going to have to pay for this." They just saved your freaking lives, but you're acting like a-holes. Okay.
Such a-holes. And so the climax of this scene is that
it's good,
the surfers yelling at Jason.
That board was brand new. It cost me $800. An idiot lifeguard says, "Leave it."
And Kakoa walks up and she's like, you have a fly on your nose. And the surfer's like, "What?" And she freaking clocks him. Right in the schnoz.
In the schnozzy between the eyes. Boom.
Between the eyes.
Well, I was going to say schnozzy between the schnoz, but I didn't know. Schnozzy between the schnardor's eyes. So he falls down on
because she knocks him
back.
Square out.
I mean, Kakoa is showing her strength. And guess what she has when she opens her fist? A fly.
Guys, there's a fly in there. So
which I think is supposed to demonstrate. You remember how her dad's a samurai,
right?
So I think it's just to demonstrate that she also is quick and like, you know, those people who catch the flies in the air chopsticks, like reflexes are so quick, and she's powerful and she's strong. And this gives Kakoa a little bit of an awakening. She's kind of like, wow, I'm owning myself and who I am, and I feel really strong and empowered right now, which kind of segues into the rest of the episode.
So she is, after that rescue, like Colin said, she's got some swag in her step. She's feeling herself. And she's walking up to... So pumped. So I was going to say throbbing. And then I was like, no, that's not the right word. That's not the right word.
It's pumping. My post is pumping.
Fist pumping. Oh my God. Okay. Not fist pumping.
fist pumping. It's very innocent, and I know you're like riled up, like yeah. But when you say fist pumping and tuss swelling at the same time,
as soon as I said it, I was like,
just avoid those words.
Okay, so because she is feeling confident, she's walking up to the outdoor showers, which are gorgeous. They have like these outdoor bamboo showers that overlook the beach.
And we have like a little, this is where we see Sean in the shower. And it's kind of those like, those movies where it's like the slow-mo romantic, like glistening skin in the shower. So Cocoa's got this little sparkle in her eyes, this
and
little pumping in her puss. Tuss. I mean, tuss. I said the wrong, I hate that I said that. Pumping in her tuss, not pumping in her puss.
I'm going to get so sidetracked.
Yeah, we're so sidetracked. Okay, let's keep it.
Okay, so she sees him. She does get the twinkle in her eye, and she walks. And so at that moment, immediately, you're like, something's going to go down. So she sachets into that shower, and she hands Sean a mesh bag of soap. And she's like,
Here,
What's this?
I got that for you while I was in Maui. Really good for nursing people. You spend a lot of time in the water. Oh, and that's the second favorite gift that the Hawaiians gave to first Westerners.
What was the first favorite? Food?
sex. And I don't think anybody was fact checking this. It feels wildly inaccurate.
That is wildly inappropriate, Kakoa. I know the Hawaiian people don't just give out sex to Westerners. That's just not anything
Westerners
that's
were
ever
like
happened.
Huge dicks that were like
they
conquering
took
their
over your
island.
land, and like it's an awful thing that happened.
Do you really think the Hawaiians were like, oh, we're so grateful to you for conquering us. Like, let us just give you tons of island sex.
And also, I've got a few questions. A, was Kakoa, did she buy the soap on the way to the shower? I'm just wondering when she bought the soap, or if this is something that she's been thinking about, or if it was like a last minute spur of the moment thing.
Just keeping it on hand for like when the desire hits. She has
and
it
hit.
In her bag.
It hit just like her fist hit his face. The sexual desire hit Kakoa.
Yeah, so she definitely is laying it on thick. She gets her flirt on in the shower, and who is overlooking like the velociraptor she is? your velociraptor and your typing sounds are wildly similar.
I was trying to like I don't know. I was really bad at that. We got to just pay someone to put sound effects in.
I really think they would pale in comparison to what you're putting out right now.
Like a velociraptor coming out of the bushes, it's freaking Dawn.
Dude, she is spying
Shit
so
stirring
hardcore.
Spy, sneaky, manipulative Dawn, of course, is watching this interaction between Kakoa and Sean.
So when the next day they're all in the facility doing their administration duties, Sean's just sitting at his desk minding his own beeswax, and
shirt off,
Kakoa comes up to him with a plate of pastries, and not just like she made some pastries and brought him a couple on a plate. It's
an
like
excessive plate of giant pastries.
It's like a dozen pastries that she supposedly made homemade. So she's like, this also confuses me, and she goes,
start with the halpia. It's like cream. I think you might like that.
It's cream filled, and you might like that. And I can't quite track that metaphor. I'm so sorry.
I'm having a hard time too. I just don't get
Who's cream?
Who's cream? Where? In
why?
A donut hole?
How?
I don't know. I mean, I can kind of see where she was going a little bit just from a gross mind, but the execution was not
very, very off. So she leaves those, and immediately Dawn just like steps into frame. Like she's just right around the desk, and she's like, oh, I just think it's so cute that Cocoa has a crush on you. And she starts being like really condescending about, oh, cute little Cocoa.
And Sean's just playing like, again, like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not true. She's just giving me gifts and doing weird sexual things because that's who she is.
And he also says the Hawaiians love to give food as gifts. And another wildly inappropriate, stereotypical comment is Dawn goes,
the Hawaiians have a lot of traditional gifts.
There's a lot of wildly inappropriate misconceptions about Hawaiians in this episode. Although I did go to school in Hawaii, and I lived there for a little bit, and food is a big part of it. We all like to, luau's and celebrating with food is a big part of it.
but she's very much implying that Kakoa's gift of sex is like a Hawaiian
but that's the only thing
that's
the only Hawaiian thing I can kind of have a say on in this.
So this gets Dawn riled up. So we leave the training center, and we see Allie. I think her dementia has kicked in because she
did not take her ginkgo biloba.
She's on her paddleboard, but like in the shipping yard, like the industrial
like
shipping
between
yard.
industrial ships, there's like steam and smoke coming, and she's not paddleboarding. She's laying down, stomach first, on a paddleboard, and Dawn like kind of drifts by in what maybe is a raft. I don't know. Dawn all of a sudden
She's
is
like
just
strapped some branches together.
She's like, I made this raft really quick because I had to tell you this juicy secret.
Want to hear a bit of juicy gossip? Cocoa has a crush on Sean.
So she floats by Allie, and she's just kind of like, oh my God, Cocoa is hitting on Sean. Sean doesn't think it's something you're doing. And Allie's just like
floats into the distance.
And then floats into the distance, and Allie's still paddleboarding in the shipping yard.
So that gets her thinking, because there's this like low-key suggestion that Allie still has some feelings for Sean, regardless of what has happened with Nick. So you can tell that like they're planting the seed that Allie is feeling a little bit jealous and a little bit like, what is the deal? Why does everybody all of a sudden want to jump Sean's bones? So that leads to the next conversation, which happens in the place where all most important conversations happen on Baywatch Hawaii.
The Dark Cove.
The little
Dark Cove.
Cove Lagoon.
Cove Lagoon at night, always to show that. And they're always in their regular bikinis to show that it's like
you can tell it's
and
off duty.
Cadence and I just have a few questions. Like, do they say like meet at the Cove to talk, like to have a discussion?
Do they have a nightly?
Do they have a nightly?
It's just a standing invitation.
You know how like Central Perk on Friends, like they just kind of came and went, and someone was always there. Is that the situation to Cove? Like,
right?
Just if you're looking for someone, you can't find them. Oh, they're at the Cove.
No one had texting,
Cove?
so they definitely weren't like, "Hey, meet me at the Cove."
Meet me at the Dark Talking Cove. So we have Cocoa, Dawn,
kind of like the park and ride.
Cocoa, Dawn, and Allie in the Talking Cove. And Dawn starts stirring up this conversation about and this is where this whole episode takes a turn. She feels
you can just see the really gross, like, you know what? I'm not going to say gross writers because I don't know these people personally, but you can sort of imagine like a bunch of guys imagining what they wished a woman would say.
Oh yeah. Like there were no female writers on this cast. At least it appears that way by this conversation, because Dawn starts saying,
it's all our fault, you know. We did this to ourselves. Women fought to be treated as equals. And now, shame on us, we're being treated as equals. What's our fault? What we did here in the training center. We've allowed ourselves to become part of the woodwork. Paddleboards up against the wall.
I haven't. I'm as much a part of this team now as anyone.
All teammates.
Yeah.
One of the guys.
Well, not exactly one of the guys.
Come on, that's how they treat us. Which is pretty incredible, considering we walk around in swimsuits all day.
What is your point?
We've lost our femininity to make it more comfortable for them.
Damn, our teammates are giving us respectful space and not
they are not sexually harassing us
as sexual.
How fucking dare they?
Sexual objects. So she's like, we have to reclaim our femininity and our sexuality, and we have to like let the men realize that we are women. And there's really nothing wrong with owning your sexuality and wanting to be like feminine around your coworkers, but I think they take it to like a wildly ridiculous level.
I am going to stop hiding my sexuality. I'm going to become feminine again, and they can just deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And Allie can see this from a mile away because
Allie's got a
she's been through more sex scandals probably than the average lady.
Remember the JFK and the Marilyn Monroe. And
so she's like, guys, this is not a good idea.
Yeah, she's kind of like, I'm not smelling what you're stepping in, Dawn. Like,
but
I don't
Cocoa is not at all feeling that way.
No, Allie, I agree.
Girl, I am in.
Bored. She is like so into it. So this conversation kind of leads to the next 15 minutes of the show being a slow motion montage.
Yeah, you know you gotta step with caution. She's got it. Once you look into her eyes, you're locked in. She's got it. Reel you in and then spit you out. Lift you up and then take you down. She'll make you feel like there's no option.
But they're also taking it to like
shopping.
Kind of a it gets to that fine level. Well,
the fever pitch is when they're sexually harassing their coworkers.
Like, Dawn literally gets up, goes behind Numi. Because he was working out. I'm happy and glad he's in this episode. And Dawn literally rubs her breast on his back and starts. He
doesn't even know she's behind him.
Yeah, but then he does when she like actively rubbing, and then she's kind of like brushing
and
off
he's
Sean's
lifting
shoulder.
like 50-pound barbells. Like he could have, that was a hazard. Not
Could
to
you
mention
imagine?
it was
Whoop.
harassment. It was the
Boobs on the
freaking
back,
hazard.
drop.
Because she doesn't like even, the funny thing about it is she doesn't like even, not that I'm saying it would be more okay if she sexually like caressed her breasts on his back, but she sort of is just like, boop, like she just like pushes her boobs right against his back and then disappears. And then she looks at JD, he's lifting weights, and she's like doing the, what's that thing from Legally Blonde
Bend
where
and
she
snap.
like bend and snap? So she bends and snaps in front of JD, and he's like, whoa.
And she's like awkwardly rubbing her lower back
Where
slash
you think
upper
maybe
butt.
she's in pain.
Yeah, like you're like, did she maybe pull her back? And then, yeah, so basically these Cocoa and Dawn are just doing all of these extremely overtly sexual things. And it's
Allie's
wildly
watching
inappropriate
this.
for a workplace. They're touching everybody. And then Allie, she pops her little head out from behind something like,
Just
what?
like,
the grandma
what are these
literally
shenanigans?
wanting to know what's going on. Dawn comes up to Allie and bites her neck and licks it all the way to her ear.
Yeah.
So now
she
she's-
just full on.
She's going after females too. And I will say though, Allie was so freaking happy that happened. Her face
guys,
lit up like a
she went
hot
from
summer
being-
day.
She went from being so perturbed that they were doing these behaviors were taking place in the workplace
Until it
to
happened
being
to her.
like,
And then she was like, whoa, like maybe some sexual feelings because, you know, they didn't have lesbians back in the day and there were no lesbians.
only roommates.
Only roommates who had dogs.
Okay,
So after
the
that's
next-
just kind of what the episode's about. That's why we
because
got
that
so
takes
into
up a
it.
good 20 minutes, truly a good 20 minutes. Like you introduce this problem, the girls seduce in slow-mo. I don't even want to say seduce. They sexually harass their coworkers for 20 minutes in slow-mo.
Under the
And
guise
then-
of seduction.
reclaiming their femininity.
Reclaiming their femininity.
Kind of confusing. So,
But I know, Katie, though, I had a job. I don't know if you know this about me, but I worked at a company.
tell me more.
It was a company.
I have never
And
experienced
I was doing
employment.
a really, really good job and everybody like really praised me. But then I started getting upset because no one was seeing me as a sexual being.
Right.
And this was at the workplace, right? So
Right.
the only
where
option...
it's the one place you want to be seen as a sexual being.
Exactly. So what I did was I started going to work with my shirt unbuttoned in short shorts.
Yes.
I started caressing the IT guy.
Oh yeah.
I would flop my breasts onto the table when the, CEO was talking because I just really felt like people needed to see that. I don't want to
And
be
you-
a cog in this company. I want
Right.
people to see me as and that's like you said, work is the
as a
place to do
cock
it.
in this company.
As a cock in this company. I just flopped it out on tables in the middle of work sessions. I kissed people's
I deserve to be
ears,
seen
and I was just like,
as a sexual being.
I'm a masculine gay man, and I need to be seen sexually. So I
That
just
voice is definitely conveying
I don't know why I did that. I'm a
masculinity.
masculine gay man. No, I I was like trying to reclaim my masculinity, but I
Guys,
didn't.
I'm so masculine.
Dawn
Listen to me.
Dawn just got to me, okay? Basically, I'm saying, I feel it. I get it, Dawn. That makes rational sense.
Disclaimer, don't try any of these things at your workplace. Just side note.
That's from Katie. I don't know if I can say the same.
But we understand
I'm
where
just
Dawn's
kidding.
coming from.
Absolutely.
So
Do not do
then-
this in a workplace. That was a joke, you guys. I never actually did that. Hopefully you picked up on that.
So we see that there's that Jason and JD are still together, like being the Three Stooges or the Two Stooges,
I know, I
trying
was
to
about
like
to say there's
troll
only
women.
two of them. Yeah, they've really tried to play this up that JD and Jason are just like these two goofballs, like always trying to hit on women.
So they're out being stooges trying to get women, and they're in this paddleboard together, and they cannot seem to keep this goddamn thing upright. Like they are
Trained professionals. Trained
JD is
lifeguard
an Olympic
professionals.
sailboat team member who was drafted for the U.S. Olympics, and he can't keep a freaking paddleboard upright with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, just keep turning over. And a flock of women come by, and they're in a different sort of paddle boat. It's not what the guys are using. It's more of like a canoe. And they're like, can we help you? And Jason is so, bless his little heart, he's so smarmy, and he's like,
Actually, I've lost all feeling below my waist.
I mean, I would let him bring feeling back to me, but whatever.
We
So
pick and choose our
what we're offended by.
What we're offended
Dawn,
by.
you cannot sexually harass anyone. Hey, Jason, do you want to sexually harass me in the bathroom at work?
We're like, we very pick and choose what's offensive to us. But keep
Would you
going.
want to sexually harass me on this desk real
Because
quick?
I would. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Jason, waist down.
I know. So their plan is essentially, well, Jason's plan, because JD has no game despite his claims to the contrary. So Jason says, like, I really need to get back to the beach, you guys. Can you take me back? I want to hop in this canoe with you if one of your friends can help JD get this other board back. And so he hops into the canoe so the women can take him back to the beach. And he also goes, you guys work out? They're like, yeah. He's like, it really shows. And I just want to, like, grab his little Jason head and, like, snuggle him and be like, it's okay. You don't have to say stuff like that. You're beautiful. You can just be yourself. You don't need to be smarmy.
No cigarettes, no smarmy, just no cowboy hats. Just do it.
Always cowboy hats. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, always
Always
a
cowboy hat. So JD gets abandoned in the middle of the ocean because Jason's got to get back to work. So Jason pulls up with the women in the canoe and he gets dropped off near his lifeguard tower. And when he gets to the tower, the other lifeguard says, hey, someone's been paging you in the lobby of the Hilton Hawaiian Village. And you need to go answer it right now.
The Hilton Hawaiian?
I've never heard this
that
before.
Came out of left field.
So he's like, are you sure it was me? And he was like, yeah, it was definitely you. Like, I heard the name Jason. So he meanders into the lobby.
Wait, just to be clear, because you even confused me a little bit, even though I watched the episode. So he left JD out to fumble with his thing.
Yeah, we don't know what happens to JD.
Jason's like, I got to get back to work. He goes back to the shore. And then on the beach, someone confronts him and says, there's a call for you at the Hilton Hawaiian?
No. He goes to the lifeguard tower. And there's another lifeguard in the lifeguard tower. And he says, hey, Jason, you got paged. And he's like, are you sure it was me? And he says, yeah, it was definitely your name. I definitely heard Jason. So he can't call them back with the walkie at the lifeguard tower. He has to go into the Hilton Hawaiian Village and use the phone that's in the lobby to return this call. And this is where things get weird.
You can't call Miko, the receptionist, and be like, hey, can you figure this out for me? Help me.
That seems like the number one easiest solution is like you've got a really capable receptionist who wears glasses. She is seeing things clearly and she is getting stuff done.
You're right. Yes.
So, but he doesn't do that. So he goes to use this public phone. He answers it and they're like, the other voice is like,
Jason.
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, it's Mary Beth.
I don't know any Mary Beth. Are you sure you want me?
Oh, Jason, thank God you're there. I'm in mortal danger. You've got to help me. They're here. They're going to kill me. Jason, you're the only one who can save me.
Is Baywatch getting real right now?
You don't know what the fuck is happening, basically.
That's the first thing
because
you hear.
I would like to also just make a very clear visual. When Jason goes to use this public phone in the Hilton Hawaiian Village, there are multiple men in black suits, black sunglasses, hair pulled back, and they're like, I don't know, it's supposed to show that they are recording his conversation maybe from this public phone. It doesn't make any sense, but like Cadence said, who are these people? So all of a sudden, all this fury breaks out, and Jason he looks across the room and sees this beautiful woman on a cell phone.
Who's on the other end.
Who's on the other end of the phone.
And he's like,
him.
Can you call the police? And she's like, I can't. It's too late now. And he's like, doesn't think twice. He's like, I'm going to get you the hell out of here. So he puts the phone down. He runs across the restaurant. He picks her up, throws her over his shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
Like a fucking Adonis master of beauty. He like picks her up, he throws her over his shoulder, and then he gets this look on his face like, I have the best idea right now. And he like overturns this little bar stool
to cause like a diversion. Also, he doesn't know.
He's so proud of
himself.
Obviously,
sweet, pretty Jason. You obviously didn't think about like, where are you going to take this woman? So you guys are probably wondering what the hell is going on, and we're going to tell you.
Which we also were wondering.
As the audience, you're like, actually, what the fuck is going on? Turns out they are filming a movie, and they tricked Jason into being this role in the movie of saving this woman. And so all the men in black, all the sleazy guys, it's like directors and movie people, and they're all in on it. It's all acting. And you're sitting there saying, I don't think that's how that works. Like, I don't think you can trick somebody and
someone randomly. And no, but here's the real perplexing
how did they even
part.
know to page Jason? Like, I don't get.
Because the director gets ticked and he's like, you ruined this entire scene. This isn't the guy I cast. And I'm like, then who paged him? If this is not the actor you cast and you're pissed off, then who paged Jason? It turns out that, yes, he's accidentally been inserted into the filming of a scene of a movie, but the woman is clearly, as we all would be, aroused that she got picked up and thrown over the shoulder
She's like
of Jason.
giving him looks and like, who is
so
that? 6'4"
she's like, you
beauty.
know, call me later if you know what I mean. And then at some point, Allie tells Sean, like, you're going to have to take care of all this mess with the girls. Like, this is going to tear the team apart, as we have heard in other
Allie.
episodes.
I just love her.
She's like, I have been on enough elite teams in my 120 years of life
If I've learned one
tear a team
thing
apart.
from those rubber boats, it's that rubber
Some
bounces
things
off
don't
me
float.
and sticks to you. I know, I was trying to think of what I could do. Like, some things don't float, and this is
I
not going to
love
float.
all of the ways that we start metaphors and don't finish them, but we give it our all.
It's mostly
We give
me.
it our
I just
all.
like my brain. I just halfway just stop and just stop.
I try to
talking.
meet you every time.
You do. It's really
we never
nice,
quite land
but
it,
we
but I'm
never quite
trying.
land it. But you try so hard.
So that night, they're all in their life. Okay, so these are also full-grown women, right? And they're like bunking in like twin beds in the same room.
It's
and
the
they're like
funniest little
every
dorm room.
piece of furniture is wicker. They're wearing like Daisy Dukes and crop tops and like brushing each other's hair. It's so, I just have to keep reminding myself, like, these are grown ass women. So anyway, Sean's like, I need to talk to all of you guys. And so Kakoa comes in. And so he sits them all down and he is like, I need to talk to you guys about sex. Dawn's like,
Oh, group?
and I'm like, Dawn, now
She's
it's
like
not the time.
she's like the Stifler of the group.
You know what?
Yes.
And there's things about Dawn that get on my nerves, but when I really stop and think about it, I'm like, Dawn reminds me a lot of myself because she tries so hard. She thinks she's flirting, but really she's just making everyone so uncomfortable.
You can rearrange my insides if you want.
Exactly. Think of, like, if we take a moment and flashback to all of the ways I've tried to be flirtatious on this podcast, it's never ended up well. It never ends well. So I'm trying to be compassionate and see there's so much of me and Dawn. And they always say that you don't like people who are too much like you. So that might be part of it.
But there's a lot of ways you are not like Dawn. Let's make that clear.
Thank you.
And I do want to say that they are in their crop tops and little bloomers or what, but they're all matching. So they obviously have matching day gear and matching night gear. So, and I do just want to reemphasize that even the decor on the walls is also wicker. Like,
yeah,
made
there's
of
wicker bowls.
baskets.
There's literally wicker bowls.
It's the best thing
Maybe
I've
they
ever
stole
seen.
all that treasure from the cave.
They did. I think they lied about that. They definitely got some baskets up in there.
So Sean is okay, and this is the part that really makes me laugh because he gives them the following speech.
Let me put it to you this way. You are by far the most beautiful, most desirable women I have ever been around. As a man, I find each one of you incredibly attractive. Jesse, too. Sometimes when I see you on the beach or coming out of the water, just standing there in the sunlight, my heart stops. To you, I've become what I pretend to be. But in reality, I'm just a guy who's been put in charge of something wonderful. And that who knows that he can never let his feelings for any one of you affect this team. Regardless of how much I may wish otherwise, I won't let that ruin what we're working so hard for.
I get what you're trying to do here, Sean, but this is also sexual harassment. This was not the way that you needed to go about clearing this up.
I am so horny for you. I am rock hard for you. The things I would do to you, I think about it all day. I think about all the different ways I'd bend you, but I can't because it's work. I can't do that.
I want to tear those short shorts off you right now with my
I want to
teeth.
slam you against the wall and just 50 Shades of Grey the shit out of you, but I can't.
But you know what? You're my coworker.
I'm a
I
bona fide
respect you
hard
too
ass
much.
and I respect you too much. I can't do those.
So then the way that he brings this all together, he's like, I want to fuck each and every one of you. You're all super hot slamming babes. We can't do anything
Which they
about it,
are,
but let's
super
all go
hot
to
slamming
dinner.
Yeah, that's how, like, his solution to like put ice on your dick when it's hard. Like, let's just go to. Well, I don't. Two people. I don't know.
When you said that, I was like, tell me more. Tell me more
I have no idea where my mind went. I think I was thinking like take a cold shower. Like, because isn't that something people say to do when you have a boner? Like take a cold shower? I don't know.
It is.
So I was just like, I went immediately to Nomi in Showgirls and rubbing ice on her breasts. And I just was thinking, do that to get it down.
Good. Okay, so 2 things wrap up this episode. One of them is we're back at the headquarters. It's nighttime. JD is still working out in his bathing suit when a woman walks in. And who is that woman but the woman from the movie that was making eyes at Jason earlier?
Hi.
Hi.
Can I help you? Please say yes.
Yes, I'm Maxine Racine.
Maxine Racine?
Well, I changed it for professional reasons. I'm an actress.
Oh, right. Wait a second. I've seen you. A TV show.
Maybe La Femme Nikita?
Yes, yeah. La Femme Nikita.
Well, anyway, I'm looking for Jason. Is he here?
They do a little bit of cross promotion again because JD's like, you look super familiar. Like, would I know you from anything? And she's like, yeah, I'm from La Femme Nikita. And he's like, yeah, La Femme Canita. Or La Femme Nikita.
It's just they say it 20 times. It's a Sunday night
just like
on
the
ESPN football type thing.
All over again. And then Jason comes out and he is like in head to toe Armani. They go to a very special place that I don't know if you have heard of.
It's called the Hilton Hawaiian Village. They're in front of a waterfall that again has a giant Hilton Hawaiian Village sign on it. And she starts like dancing, like, but there's no music, and she just kind of starts like swaying, and it's slow motion, and they're kissing, and it's bizarre.
Our wishes start coming true. Like Colin and I have been bitching about how we're living in a cuckoo land because no one's after Jason. But the next few episodes, like all of our wishes come true. We get what we ask for, and there is so much Jason kissing. It is amazing. They start
banking on the Jason. So
it is. They realize the tool that they have. They realize like, well, we have been low key keeping this guy hidden, but he's our secret weapon. So he makes out with this woman. They do spend the night together, and
they develop a bond.
But then she has to leave the next morning on Hawaii Airlines flight direct to LA, which is the same flight. Mitch takes that flight. Everybody takes that flight. Tanner takes that flight. Hobie takes that flight.
But the second thing that happens to wrap up the episode is as Sean and the 3 females are all horned up in a wagon going to dinner, they are passing a car, like an old
going over
Buick.
a bridge.
They're going over a bridge, and sure enough, they pass, and this car just right off the road off the bridge into the water.
So, of course, the other climax is that him and all these women, who, by the way, have just had this, whole dynamic where they're trying to
control their sexual urges, I guess.
Yeah, and they all come together as a team, regardless of gender, to save. And all of those sexual feelings go out the window because they know what their purpose is, and it's to save these kids and their parents.
Ooh,
and so that's the beauty.
That's good. You really brought that full circle.
I landed that eagle so smooth. So that wraps up 15 the Hero, which there are, I guess, maybe everyone's the hero in that. I guess maybe we were too quick to say that.
I took it very literally that Jason was the hero in that scenario of the movie, but I feel like everyone
rescue people.
They
like it really.
Everyone's a hero.
JD's not a hero because he never is.
All right, so after that very funny episode of 15, we're starting with episode 16, which is called Thundertide. And we're going to keep this one a little more brief because there's only maybe 2 or 3 main talking points. And that is the episode opens with Dawn walking up to Jesse on the beach. Dawn is like those people that like come into the office and huff and puff and knock things over.
Vague bookers.
But then you're like, what's wrong? And they're like, nothing. But they so desperately want to talk about it. And they're like, fine, I'll tell you everything in my life.
I miss being in love. I miss the absolute wonder of having someone new walk into your life, the initial overwhelming passion, the physical attraction, that incredible chemistry that makes your blood boil.
Romance.
Yeah. We're so focused on work. No soft lights, no music to dance to, no secret touches, and I miss it.
I don't really miss it, unless I think about it. That's why I don't think about it. Then I think about the candlelight and that look in the man's eyes and that unspoken desire that reaches out and covers your whole body and embraces you and takes your breath away.
That ain't romance, Jesse. That's lust.
Jesse's like, I want to get laid.
And Jesse's like, basically like, yeah, I just want to get booked. I don't care about love.
And Don's like, oh, Jesse, what you feel is lust, like all judgmental. And I'm like, Don you just literally sat down.
So they just have this kind of strange conversation and get to bond a little bit. And we're starting to see that Jesse and Don are basically both horny. And after last episode, we know, well, after this whole freaking season, we know that Don's horny for literally anything.
The full episode has a proper start, as in the action begins when Jesse and Keikoa and Sean are kind of out patrolling in the Scarab. So they are checking all the beaches, looking to see if there's any emergencies.
Checking all the beaches,
they
looking
come
for
to this
emergencies.
And then Colin wrote us a song, and they see this like kind of this bay where all these boats are sort of together partying. Essentially, there's like lots of like beer and like younger people, and they get flagged down.
Beer and youths and loud music. Cadence has never been around. She doesn't know what a party is.
I feel like I've heard about parties,
and
I've read about parties in books.
Riveting conversation.
And so they're like, help us. And so they said, what's going on? And they're like,
it's my friend Lara. One minute we were playing kites, the next minute she was gone. She just disappeared, vanished.
I'll give you $100 to guess where this person disappeared to.
Kind of like quicksand of the ocean. She gets sucked under.
You just never know. You never know.
And the truly perplexing thing is they're in like maybe 18 inches of water. Like everyone's standing and their water isn't even reaching their knees. And then all of a sudden someone will just go and get sucked under. So they go through the rigmarole of this rescue, and it involves them running out of spare air.
I need more spare air.
We don't have any spare air. We run out.
And at that point, you're kind of like, you better wish you had JD's spare air helmet now, don't you? Right? Doesn't look like
his
such a dope
head,
now,
right? Doesn't look like so. Although they would not have been able to swim with them, but so anyway, they obviously saved this group of people.
It would have been, as much as I want to give JD credit in that moment. Really, the reality is, if you're getting sucked down into a sulfur hole with that helmet on, you're probably getting decapitated.
Boom, boom.
The
pressure, your head's like
just pops right
against
off.
the rocks.
So they all at one by one get sucked down. So like Jesse gets sucked down, Sean gets sucked down, and they rescue everybody. Everybody's okay. And we move on from that rescue because it's really not that exciting.
But a more exciting rescue does happen. We go from one rescue right to another.
Right to the next.
The next day, let's presumably say it's the next day, we have a group of what are they called? Skydivers. Lots of skydiving. And automatically you know that this is risky because these skydivers are being silly and fun. And sure enough, I'm actually terrified to skydive. I'm not scared of heights. Well, I am scared of heights. I really am. I don't like being on tall buildings, but I can like fly in a plane. Definitely, but I could never skydive. I think that's terrifying in itself. But like I can't be in a tall building. Anyway, that was a side note. Just a little bit more about me. So they're skydiving.
Colin's Match.com ad.
I just really hate skydiving. It's very scary.
But I am very masculine.
I'm a masculine gaming. I still can't get over that. I did that. Really, so gross. Okay. But getting back to it. So they're skydiving. So
Jesse, Don, and Sean are all watching this thing happen. And they're at the main Waikiki beach. And they see this plane. They see the skydivers. And they notice immediately that one of the parachutes does not open.
Oh my God, they're going to crash.
Don, you're with me. Jesse, hit it.
Sean can see this coming from a mile away. So he already has the team. They're
He's got
in motion.
The Sean Tingle. We should just call it the Tingle.
And he gets everybody in the boat, the Scarab, for those of us who've been paying attention. And he drives, he's just like beelining out to the thing, and they land. One of the guys hits hard, and he's got some sort of really problematic injury. The other one's okay.
I mean, he just hit the freaking ocean after falling out of a plane.
Yeah, it's
You'd
like
think it'd be.
Cement,
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think you'd be survive. But it's Baywatch world, so they did.
So they get everybody into the boat that, you know, like everybody settled. One's sent to the hospital, and the other one who's okay, he all of a sudden Don starts.
Ryan! Oh my God! Ryan, it's me!
Are you talking to me?
Oh God, I thought you were someone else. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she started going, Ryan, it's me! And he turns around, And he's like, what? And she's like, I thought you were someone else. And so she climbs in the scarab and like runs away. But then she tells Sean on the way back, she's like, that was so weird. But that guy looked exactly like my old friend Ryan. And Sean's like, I really could not care less about this, but thank you for sharing.
Who the hell's Ryan? Do not care.
The next time that they get to we're going to again assume that this is the next day, but they come back to the facility and all of a sudden the whole thing is filled with dozens and dozens, 13 dozen, that's not the right word. 13 dozen specifically.
You can do it.
Specifically. And there's a card in them. And turns out that these roses are from Flower Shop in the Hilton Hawaiian Village.
Yes, they are from the Hilton Hawaiian Flower Shop, but they came from the guy that they all saved yesterday that Dawn kept thinking was Ryan. So he asked Dawn to a date to the Hilton Hawaiian Village.
Obviously. And Sean walks in and sees these flowers and he's like,
oh, you're not dating this guy, are you?
I might see him if that's a date.
That's a big mistake, Dawn. I'm going to tell you this as a friend. A lifeguard dating a victim is a potential time bomb, and not just for you, for the victim as well. Now, they feel such immense gratitude that it can confuse their emotions. I think it is inappropriate.
Then you shouldn't do it.
So, Dawn gets very, very defensive about this. Because she's like, oh, what, are you jealous? Are you jealous that he wants to go out with me? Like, she tries to make it a thing. And he's like, no, I'm just telling you this is not going to end well. And so she meets up with Jerome. And on the beach, he's got like these, like in the 90s, those like itty bitty baby glasses that everybody wore.
The little like round ones.
Blue tinted.
I love it. It's so hot.
And so he like, pulls his little blue glasses down, looks over them, even though he can clearly see over them because they're teeny itty bitty. And he's like,
you look hot.
Like he can't think of the word and it's like ... Yeah, hot's definitely the word. So this is also such a good part. He's like, I wasn't sure you were going to show up. And she's like, 13 dozen roses and an invitation to the Hilton Hawaiian Village. Like, I'm going to pass that up.
Anytime I get ever invited to the Hilton Hawaiian Village, no way I'm passing that shit up.
I just moved from one room to the next.
You'd say all you can eat brunch menu and drop my panties right now.
They go on this date and they're sitting having a drink and all of a sudden things get super weird.
We don't understand it, guys.
He starts saying this.
You know what's amazing? We just met, and I have this incredible sense that I know you. I know everything about you. I know you so well that I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. And you're not going to like hearing this, but you hate feeling that you're not in control.
And she's like,
this isn't going to work.
And he's like, no, don't leave. And she's like,
am I attracted to you, Jared, or the memory of Ryan?
And we're like, who the fag is Ryan?
Who is Ryan? And the guy's like,
what's the difference?
So imagine meeting a pure stranger and they tell you, like, I don't know if I'm attracted to you or someone who looks like you. Would you just be like, yeah, okay, that works? Like, I'm okay with that.
Great. Basically, to wrap it up, we just see that Jesse and Dawn had this little talk about sex and love, and they kind of have their thing going on. And then we have that whole Dawn meeting Ryan thing, which we still don't know who Ryan is. The episode ends, and we still aren't sure who or what or where or when Ryan ever was a thing.
I really feel like they had a missed opportunity. Like, they could have been very progressive and had like Dawn and Jesse like fulfill each other's sexual needs and just been like, guys, just go for it. You don't need a man.
I think they have to kind of have, well, I guess they could just experiment.
Well, I mean, we already briefly touched on there, definitely on some sort of chore wheel situation for each other's needs.
You're really a proponent of this chore wheel fulfillment system.
Sex chore.
They just spin it, and it's like those dice that you roll, like Kiss, Sean.
Yep.
Then you just roll a dice. It's like, ice up, Allie.
Ice up.
Touch butts, JD. And they just have that chore wheel. So anyway, that's the end of that episode.
Against backs.
Not a lot happened, but boob, Numi's back. So we'll jump into the next one. So after that cool episode, we switch to episode 17.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead. I take notes. My notes literally say, this is amazing.
It's called Breath of Life, the episode. So episode 17 is Breath of Life.
It's really me just being such a creep because as much as I don't appreciate women being objectified, oh my God, Jason, this whole episode is doing like hard labor with his shirt off. And it's real good, guys. It's real good. I need to put some ice on my dick, apparently, so I can get through this.
Ew. Put some ice on your tuss.
So this starts out with Sean bringing Jason into the office and being like, I need to speak to you, young man, like a principal or something. And he's like, hey, I need you to do something for me. I have this canoe on the Big Island, and I have a first-class ticket on Hawaiian Airlines to fly you over there.
Surprise, surprise. It's literally a 45-minute flight, you guys.
So he's like, I just need you to pick up this canoe for my friend. And that's all the information that he gives them.
Bizarre. So, nobody knows why or anything.
Right. So he shows up at the airport and he's waiting to be picked up. And this girl, this vision of beauty comes walking.
She's got a very Michelle Rodriguez Fast and the Furious vibe to her.
Yeah, she kind of does. So he sees her and he's like,
I see you walking towards me and I was hoping you're coming for me.
And she won't talk to him. And he's like, well, do you have a car? Are we going to get the bus? Like, what's happening?
And she's basically just giving him those looks like, just follow me, follow my lead, Buster.
She's irritated that he's even asking her questions.
She's that attitude. Exactly right.
So he starts following her and it's very much implied that, okay, well, they're going to walk wherever it is they're going. So Jason's trying to be a good sport. He's trying to talk to her.
And she's literally leading him through the entire Big Island. I'm pretty sure they walked through the entire island.
They did. They walked like from one side to the other. And he's getting more and more like, well, why are you not talking to me? He keeps saying like, did I do something wrong? Have I irritated you in some way? Are you just always in a bad mood?
I mean, you can't blame him though. He gets this mysterious request from Sean to go pick up a canoe for a friend on the Big Island.
Which sounds like a euphemism, big time.
Right? Like that's
he might be a drug runner.
Sure. That's a drug deal for sure. Broke down pallets. Don't do it, Jason. But Jason does it and he gets picked up again by this girl that he has no idea who the hell she is. And she's refusing to talk to him and making him walk across the island. So I feel for Jason right now. I get where he's coming from.
Because he also has no idea why he's there. It's not like he came to ruin her life or anything.
No.
Like he's doing a favor for Sean. Or so he thinks at this point.
And Sean didn't give him any details. Like, could you imagine Sean's just like, just go pick up this canoe. From who?
Right.
Where? Why? How do you have this
names,
canoe?
Nothing. How are you going to get a canoe back in the plane? Like, there's so many.
So many questions. Anyway.
So he's getting irritated, and then he's like,
you know what? I'm going to stop talking to you. You hear me? Not another word. Just going to concentrate on watching your butt.
She finally opens her mouth, and she says,
don't do that. Stop. You stop it. Just kidding. She doesn't do that.
She goes,
Hi, don't start that.
And he's like, I just wanted to see if you were going to look me in the eye. And at that point, they just start going at it on the lava rocks. Just kidding.
They don't.
She's still very irritated
she's still
with
very
him.
irritated, and she's still driving him through the Big Island. And finally, they get to
where they're going.
A small hut, and it turns out that this is her grandfather's home, and her grandfather is. We think that he starts having this little attraction to Jason. We're not quite sure because a lot of the stuff that happens after this gets a little foggy, but
it's a lot of subtext.
Grandpa's got a little twinkle in his eye, and Jason's like, what the hell am I doing? What is going on? And the grandpa's like, I'll show you where the canoe is. Let's go get it. And he walks Jason into the jungle, and he's like, there it is. And Jason's like, am I on Punk'd? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Like, what's going on? And he's like, there it is. And he points to a tree. Jason has to make the canoe.
Right. Which, you guys, we get to watch pretty much every step of.
I mean, I do like that. We'll definitely show some of those clips. I'm telling you.
I'm not going to complain.
Again, just questions here. Sean wanted Jason to go to Hawaii, the Big Island of Hawaii, to make a canoe for him and somehow bring it back?
Yeah, I feel like by the end of this, we realize or should realize or kind of realize or it should be implied that Sean, because of his lifeguard tingle, knows that this is a really
it's like a
important experience.
It's like a learning experience.
Jason to have in order to grow and become like a little bit more mature. And also because he's been officially adopted into his Hawaiian family, that it's part of his journey to become more in touch with his authentic self.
So you think that Sean put out an ad on Craigslist and was like, need old man and grumpy woman to guide this boy through the forest and force him to make a canoe for me to teach him a lesson because I'm his lifeguard father.
And because Jason's Jason, you know, like any other person might be let out. I mean, if this was JD, could you imagine? He'd unravel so freaking fast.
Oh, he'd be so mad, yelling at her, picking up trash, and being like, I'm really well organized. And it'd be like, oh, show me.
This is not organized. It's not organized when you make me cut a tree. So Jason, because he's Jason and he can kind of go with the flow and he's impulsive, he was like,
oh, you know, back in Texas, some people think that tradition starts with Black & Decker, but hey, it's just me. So this is the deal, then this is the deal.
He's tries to be a good what's the word? Sport. I was gonna say spirit, and I'm like, spirit's not the word I'm looking for. He turns into a ghost.
I would not be surprised at this point.
That's true. So he cuts down the tree and he drags it with his pure,
and this is where we see
muscular
gorgeous body in slow motion, all his muscles rippling as he's making this canoe.
Yeah.
But we also find out something about why the girl is so grumpy.
Do you know what ho'o'elina means?
It's got something to do with food. I'm interested.
It's the teacher's last student. The one chosen to carry on. You must become that for my grandfather.
Look, I'm a lifeguard. I'm not a teacher.
I know. That's why I wish you hadn't come. And that's why I wanted you to leave.
Oh, also the grandpa tells the girl to shut your mouth, child. Like, it's very rude. And
He's
then,
a very that's why she's grumpy. She's living with an abusive old man, a verbally abusive man.
Because he's like, can you please help us make food? And she's like, just send him away. Like, he's not worthy of this. And he's like, shut your mouth, girl. And Jason pipes right in and he's like, yeah, shut your mouth, girl. I'm like, Jason, come on.
He's just like crossing his arms behind the grandpa. Oh, yeah. Shut your mouth now. Yeah, I agree.
Do what he said. So at that point, she does make the food. He comes over to eat with her, which, by the way, he starts eating poi with his fingers, like licking it off his fingers. And I've never been so seduced by someone eating with their fingers.
Oh my gosh, we are grossing out so many audience listeners right now.
Most of the time I want to barf. But I was like, oh, hey, can I have a taste of that poi too?
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry you have to live through this awkward brother and sister talk about their love for what was then a 19-year-old Jason Momoa on a show called Baywatch
like 18. I was 18. You were
like not
15.
18. We were way younger, but
so
still.
It wasn't gross. Maybe
but now we just keep talking about horned up. Okay, but it's a given. You just have to bear with it, guys. Listen to our horniness.
You
okay,
know what?
continue.
We're not perfect, but it's worth
Disclaimer, we will continue to be horny for Jason, always.
If there was a way that I could turn it off, I would, but it's not going to happen.
You can't. It's like eating or drinking.
And it turns out she's upset because the whole time, like, she knows her grandpa's going to die and she knows that Jason's going to be his last student. And is he really worthy to be the last student? Because when you're the last student of a teacher, you have to carry that teacher's like spirit on. Which, again,
this all came out of nowhere, was dumped on Jason in literally half a day.
Right. Like, he did not choose this.
Nobody. Yes. This is on Sean at this point. If Sean was the one that actually organized this, because that's a lot of emotional baggage that Jason just completely 100% walked into. He's just like, I thought I was moving a canoe. He's like, bro, dude, I just was told to come get a canoe. And now it's like, my grandpa's dying. You're a bitch. You're his last student and he's the teacher and you have to do this. And Jason's like, whoa.
And you have to cut down trees and you have to hack out a
Call
canoe.
me a horse because, whoa.
Good one.
That was good. I thought about that on the spot.
He starts taking it more seriously because he knows that it means something a little more important now. And he rises to the challenge, despite the fact that he's been completely hoodwinked by this whole shenanigan.
Completely hoodwinked.
He decides he's going to be a good sport. And so there's this whole weird section where the grandpa's like sitting in a chair and just watching Jason hack at this canoe.
And this is where my comments about the weird, maybe like sexual attraction to Jason happens, because he starts making these really bizarre comments to his granddaughter.
Mm-hmm. And then she's like, I don't know if he's strong enough. We'll see when his hands start bleeding. And he's like,
oh, you like that? Well, then you'll have to take care of him.
Grandpa, what are you trying to do right now?
You
and
like
he's like,
that
you're
muscular
gonna have
body, don't you?
It's so odd. And even she is like, why are you trying to make something happen?
He's just vicariously living through
He's
her.
like, are you not seeing what I'm seeing right now? Like, why aren't you trying to make this happen?
He's like, bitch, do you see exactly what's in front of you right now? Like, snap out of it. I ain't dying. I'm alive for the first time.
I'm not dying. I'm alive. So he's hacking out, like he's taking the core like out of this wood so he can make this canoe. And he's just doing this for hours and hours. And Grandpa's just sitting there like,
they're both just watching him, like thinking about them being that canoe.
And he's like, and then he says, like, Jason says something like, yeah, I have to hack at this wood. And I was just like, I will hack at that wood.
Oh, God. It's getting to be too much. At this point, it's too much. I'm going to have to put a stop to this.
You're going to have to get some
I'm
ice.
going to have to get some ice, give you some ice, and have an intervention. We need to reel it in.
I'm worried. I'm worried for you.
Reel it in with the Jason horns. Okay. So anyway, Jason writes to this
in
challenge.
my defense, I feel like the grandpa is really egging this on because
Yeah, the grandpa is, you guys. We're just going with what the grandpa's doing.
he's setting the tone for this whole situation.
Right?
Once it's finished and she sees that he's risen to the challenge and he's told the grandpa, like, I'm going to carry your spirit on. She's like, oh, this is perfect because you love my grandpa, you respect him, and you're going to be the student that I know that you can be and pass along his spirit. And at that point, she's on freaking board. She's like, let's do this. And there's the most intense makeout scene. And
intense. And it's not just a makeout scene. It's like a montage.
Intense.
This is my favorite. It's a montage flashback of all the times that this woman and Jason were together. And it's literally just the things we saw at this episode. So it's like literally a montage of, yes, exactly, 10 minutes ago and every step up into them making out furiously.
They're like, remember when this happened? Remember this happened? Do you remember when this happened?
So meanwhile, back in the offices, Miko's typing away at that keyboard as the receptionist.
Jenna and Sean have a conversation on the balcony where Jenna's like, can we finally do our second date? And
that's true.
We need to go to dinner. And Sean's like, okay, where do you want to go? And she's like,
I love Chinese. I was thinking maybe the Golden Dragon at the Hilton Hawaiian Village.
The Hilton Hawaiian, it just has everything you could ever want.
Whatever
Seriously.
you can think of, it will come out of the Hilton Hawaiian Village. So they make plans, which vaguely are at before sunset, as specified by Jenna. And what do you know? Dom is where? Right around the corner, as always.
Creeping about, as always.
As soon as Jenna walks away in her chunky flip-flops, Dawn peeks right back out, and she's like...
Two worlds, isn't it? Hers and ours. Sean, this lady has an agenda. You're the one who called her a bureaucrat, and you were right. All I'm saying is she's a political animal.
She's a pill, huh? She's stupid. And he's like, whoa, where'd that come from? So Dawn just immediately starts ripping into Jenna. And Sean's like, dude, are you jealous? And she's like, no, I just understand that this is all political and the bureaucracy out of it all and yada, yada, yada.
She's the political animal.
Yeah. And Sean's like, and again, you should trust Dawn because she knows the media circus.
Right.
She's basically really going into it. And Sean's like, you're just jealous. And that really pisses Dawn off. And Dawn's like, you don't even know. And I'm ending this conversation, and runs away in her chunky heels.
The funny thing is that like, last episode, when that guy sent Dawn roses, Dawn was like, Sean, are you jealous? And he was like, no, I'm just giving you some advice. And now Sean's like, are you jealous? And she's like, you son of a bitch, this conversation is over.
And then she literally runs away.
Sean and Jenna go to dinner at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and they've eaten, and they're like, he's seductively putting like a flower in her hair on the same side that, remember when like Nick claimed Allie as his own, that whole thing. The point is that they're in the midst of this like seemingly romantic interaction when all of a sudden Jenna's like,
I'm having the training center moved under the auspices of the North Shore Lifeguards. Doesn't make sense for you to operate separately.
What are you talking about? We don't have anything to do with you.
Well, until now, that's been true.
Instead of Sean being like, could you clarify? He's like, you bitch. I cannot believe you trapped me. I cannot believe you brought me to this dinner at the Hilton Hawaiian Village just to tell me that you're taking over my team. And she's like, I really don't think you understand what he's. I don't want to understand what you're saying. I'm going to fight you on this till the day I die. And he gets up and walks away. And so it's like, dun, dun, dun.
I bet you Dawn is somewhere in the bushes behind.
The first scene of the next episode is going to be her just popping up from behind the table.
Just being like,
what about that? She's a real pill. I told ya.
Sean, don't you want to believe me now? You think I'm jealous now?
Does this mean I win?
Does this mean I win?
So that's
basically,
how that wraps up.
yeah, this episode is Jason's journey spiritual. We still have no idea how Sean, we're assuming Sean
want to make sure
orchestrated
that
this. We
Jason
don't know.
gets to the other island back to Oahu safely because he's just paddling
he just
that.
paddled off, and we're assuming, yeah, he might just
Crossing
off
our
the
fingers,
show.
he got home safe.
It ends with the cliffhanger of Sean going out with Jenna and her telling him this.
So I don't know. We'll
And
see.
I
The
still
next
like
one.
I'm sorry to come back to it, but the whole canoe thing is just still like they just don't even try to follow up on that storyline. And Jason, I'm sure he's not going to ask Sean like, hey, remember that time you fucking told me to get a canoe and a really
And I
mean
had to paddle
lady,
all the way back
and a
from
really
the Big
mean
Island.
lady picked me up and told me her grandpa's dying, and then her grandpa was all sexual towards me, and he made me make a canoe out of some tree in the middle of the jungle.
He watched me
and he
the
watched
whole
me do it the
entire time while he
and I
panted.
have no instructions how to make a canoe. I've never made a canoe before, and then you made me paddle back to Oahu. Remember that, Sean?
You know what Sean would say? Teamwork.
Teamwork, Jason. I bet you that's how he would end it. And Jason would be like,
you know what?
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Makes sense.
You have a point.
All right, let's get on to episode
18. Episode 18, Big Island Heat, starts immediately. We start from the get-go with Jenna immediately coming into Sean's office.
Hi. I'm sorry about what happened the other night at dinner. I didn't mean for things to go like that.
You tell me you want to take over my team. Did you think I wouldn't be upset?
I said it wrong. All I meant was that I want us to work more closely, be more efficient.
It didn't sound like that.
That's because you got so defensive.
Jenna is JDing Sean.
She is. She's totally gaslighting him
and emotionally abusing him.
She's like, what we talked about last night was not what we talked about last night. So the best part is that he says no. Jenna leaves the office, and Dawn literally, like, she may as well just pop up from behind Sean's desk.
What's going on?
She's a queen of oxygen, and she is the queen of being everywhere at once and popping into scene. Half of her screen time has been just popping out of bushes.
The most exciting subplot of this whole episode is Allie and Jason and the adventures that they go on. Okay, so they're standing on the tarmac of the airport. They have their helicopter behind them, and she's like, oh man, I'm so stoked. Like, all I have to do is deliver one flight today, and then the rest of the day we have the helicopter to ourselves. Because I guess the tour company is just like, we don't make any profits, but it's cool as long as you're having a good time.
What? Take the helicopter. Keep it for the week. Keep it for the week.
And so her job is to deliver this mother and daughter who are rich and snotty from Oahu to the Big Island. And she's like, all we have to do is drop them at the Waikoloa Village. And I was like, oh my God,
it's a new
they're not going to the Hilton
Waikoloa.
Hawaiian Village. But you guys, guess what? It's a Hilton Village Resort.
It's absolutely a Hilton.
just on the other island.
It's just, yes, on the other island. They changed the name. It is very Hilton Hawaiian Resort.
So the mom and daughter get out, and the daughter is so snobby, and she's like,
That's with a PH and an E, no F or Y.
How else do people spell Daphne? That feels like something you should not have to specify, but whatever. So
What? Cadence.
What?
My name is Colin. 1K, no C. 1 L, not 2 L's. O-N, not I-N. But actually it is I-N, but only a 1 L.
So they drop this, and
Focus.
you think that that's going to be like a thing, right? Like, they what?
I was saying focus.
Well, it's because this episode is bonkers. Like, it's not like a through line. It's just like a series of vignettes. Like, they're just like, look over here, no, look over here, no, look over here.
We've, at this point, Cadence and I have decided that the writers just left.
So every time you think a plot line is like gonna start, it's like something happens and then something else is where it goes. So you think that the storyline is gonna involve this rich mother and her daughter, but no, they drop them off at the other Hilton Hawaiian Village Resort.
5 minutes of them just dropping them off, carrying all their luggage, and it's 5 minutes of them completing their task effectively.
And then they're like, let's go see the volcano, because we have the helicopter for the rest of the day, and that's what we do.
Or maybe week.
And so they go to fly over, I think it's Kilauea, and they're admiring, and Allie stops and gives a lesson about how the Hawaiian Islands are formed.
Look at that. Miles and miles of lava flow all the way down to the ocean.
It's the way the Hawaiian Islands were formed in the first place.
What do you mean?
The Hawaiian Islands. Every one of them is just the top of the other volcanoes that have erupted over and over, pushed up out of the sea.
I'm like, were you there? Because you're so old. She's like, I saw this with my eyes.
Didn't used to be on the map back in the day until Magellan came along. She's just old, wise Allie.
So she's giving this lesson to Jason. And what do they see but a pair of two tourists, two stooges, who've decided that they're going to walk right up to the lava and see how close they can get and take a picture.
Look at that.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, I can't believe we can see this.
This is unbelievable.
And Allie and Jason see it from a mile away, and they're like, oh, these idiots. But they have no way to signal to them. So they're trying to signal from the helicopter, but the couple just thinks they're waving at them. So they keep waving back. And there's that
would be
whole
me.
thing
I would
happens.
be that person in that couple just waving for days.
They're standing on the edge of the volcano cliff. And of course, what happens?
They fall in. Like I said,
way.
I don't know if you guys have noticed this because I said it like 100 times, but I lived in Hawaii.
Did you live in Hawaii?
I lived in Hawaii for a little while. And you'd be surprised at the people that really do want to get right up to the lava and like right up to things. They just think it's so cute, but it's
no one has warned them
dangerous.
about the lava tubes.
Lava tubes.
So the guy falls in, and this is my favorite part, Colin. So there's this voiceover of Jason going, I'm going to get in. I'm going to jump in because one fell in, right? And he's just got to make the move. And Allie's like, okay, I'm going to call for help. But the shot is the stunt guy who's flying the helicopter and the stunt guy who's playing Jason. And for like 10 solid seconds, this voiceover is happening between two totally different people. But the guy flying the helicopter is like a 45-year-old fat guy with a wig on.
It's at all not Allie. It's literally oh, I see. It is. Such pot belly. They did not even try to get anybody closely. It's just a larger man with a bright red.
I didn't mean
it's
fat
kind
in
of
a
like
bad
a
way.
carrot top style wig.
Just like the body, the body types are like absolute opposite ends of the spectrum. They didn't even try. It's like they put John Candy in like a carrot top wig. It's so
it's so
weird.
Could you imagine if Allie like seeing that? She's like, that is my freaking body double.
I died. I was dying. Okay, so Jason makes the leap into the ocean and he saves the guy. But here's where things get really confusing because he rescues the guy who falls in, takes him back
Tourist.
to the tourist, and he takes him back to land or like the lava cliff that they were on. And then all of a sudden he's back in the water and there's two more people that we've never laid eyes on in the water. And there's an overturned like little itty bitty fishing boat. So I thought I missed something too, but it's really odd. It's just all of a sudden Jason's rescuing the other guy and all of a sudden he's like, oh, it's a good thing that I'm already in the ocean rescuing people because there's an overturned boat right
accident
here.
after accident after accident. It's like boom, boom,
Which
boom,
is
boom, boom.
why it's hard to follow. I'm telling you, this episode was bonkers, but they do clarify that they were rescued. So they get taken away by the Coast Guard and Jason and Allie are left to finish their day. So they get in the helicopter, they take off, and they're joking about, like, we thought we were going to have this day of tourism, but you know what? We just ended up rescuing, which at this point, what else do they expect? But then at this point, a light starts flashing in the helicopter. What's happening? Yeah, they're running out of gas. They are running out of gas. And Allie's like,
oops. Well, with all the flyovers at the rescue, I've used up more fuel than I thought.
But we're okay, right?
Yeah, sure we're okay. I mean, I think we're okay.
And she just acts like so perplexed that this helicopter could have possibly run out of fuel. And it makes me wonder how she ever became a rescue helicopter pilot, or if it was just a moment where Her memory is failing her.
She is suffering a little bit from dementia. So you think that the
helicopter, they set it up like they're going to crash, and they're like, are we going to hit the water? Are we going to hit the water? And then she lands it. It runs out of gas right as they land, right on the beach. Like they just barely got over the water. She lands that puppy, and they don't call for help. They don't search. Oh, they leave the helicopter there, and they start hitchhiking home.
Well, what else are they gonna do?
They could use the walkie-talkie still.
I guess she is a walkie-talkie expert, but
they just leave. They're like, well, I guess we're just gonna leave this old dog here, and so they're hitchhiking.
Yeah,
and
they
Jason's
probably have to
like,
stay with that multi-million-dollar helicopter,
right? Protect the asset,
protect it. But
and so,
I guess it makes sense to just hitchhike home.
Jason's like, this could not get any worse.
Oh wait. It does.
Who do you think picks them up? Just a truck full of stinky pigs. It's farmers who are taking pigs in a trailer.
I saw this picture of the limo and I was like, oh, it's got to be Daphne and their mom came and picked them up. But I am seeing, I don't know where that limo came from.
It's farmers.
It's farmers in there. In
so they get to ride home with pigs in the back of a truck. Okay, so that's the end of their storyline. The other important thing that wraps up is Jenna and Sean spend the day together, like we briefly touched on. In this moment of arguing, Sean finally says what we've never heard before, but that the reason that he is a lifeguard is because his son drowned. So years ago, when he had a little toddler, baby boy, he fell in, he drowned, he passed away. And so Sean is... Because Jenna says... Like, you guys are just playing at being lifeguards. You're just playing. Like, we're the professionals. Leave it up to us. And I'm like, Jenna, first of all, this squad was assembled from an elite team of lifeguards. So clearly they know what they're doing. They're professionals. But second of all,
international lifeguards, but one of the other person's international.
So she thinks that they're losing focus, that like this is no longer for them about saving. It's just about training exercises.
Oh, God. And Sean's living it. He's living it. This is his passion because his child freaking drowned when he was young.
He's like, listen, my son died. I will never forget why I'm doing this. I will never forget this is about saving lives. And because of that, Jenna backs down. Kind of.
Look,
she knows
I made some assumptions about your team and about what you were doing, and they were wrong. They are a team. And it's your team. See, the problem is that I don't know if we can change things because the decisions have already been made. You see, I have control of the team.
She's like,
backs down just a little bit.
I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing that with me. I get it. Like, this is your life. But the decision's already been made. You definitely never see what's coming.
Definitely never, ever see what's coming. So I think it's really great writing. Baywatch Hawaii writers.
Every episode, every scene is a plot twist.
So that wraps up that
wraps up
thing.
episode 18.
Now we're getting into episode 19, which is called Exterra.
The Maui Exterra.
And this episode is really cool because our most hated titular woman of the group, Dawn, this is like her episode. And let me tell you, she just knows.
It is her time to
freaking shine. And she surprisingly shines in all kinds of different ways.
She is blindingly
shiny in
bright this episode.
I feel like at this point, it should just be the Dawn show. Like, Dawn is this, like,
she
always
steals it
around.
every time.
Yeah, good on that actress, whoever she is. Just
Brandy Ledford.
Brandy Ledford. I was going to say, I was like, I know her name if I thought about it for 2 seconds. Basically, we start off with Jesse having to, be in a marathon in like 10 days.
Oh, my intervals stink. My stroke has collapsed. I haven't been paying attention, and all of a sudden I only have 10 days before the Exterra triathlon.
Yeah, this was one of the many things JD fucking sucks about because he was supposed to train her for this. This is how he lured her to Hawaii. Long story short, she's like, man, this is in 10 days. I don't know how I'm going to be ready. And she's really stressed out. So she asks Sean if she can take a leave of absence for 10 days to finish training for the Exterra. And Sean is like, absolutely freaking not.
No. You know how many people will die if you're not on duty?
Exactly. So he threatens to cut her from the team, and she is so angry. But who's lurking right around that bush? Someone typing.
Velociraptor, Donna Raptor.
You're getting way better at that.
And she's just, again, lurking and hearing everything she's saying, and she has an idea.
And so she tells Sean.
Sean, the main reason Mitch wanted me here was to improve the physical ability of the team. Well, okay, here's your chance with Jessie. She's motivated. Let me see how much better I can make her. All part of team training.
Yeah, let me handle this. And Sean's like, the fuck? Kind of like we all are as the watcher.
What's your field again?
What is your field? Oxygen?
So she tells Sean, listen, I'm not going to train her for the Xterra, but I can channel all of her like vivacious energy and athleticism that to work for you. And once you see what I'm doing for her, you'll see what I can do for each member of the team. And then you will have an even more efficient and powerful team of athletes at your disposal. At your disposal. And he's like, you know what? That does not sound like a bad idea.
Because like Dawn is trying to climb this weird lifeguard ladder of what, like 6 people?
She's been trying to prove herself since day one when she failed that test.
when she came in to teach about oxygen and then ran out of oxygen in the pool. I mean, that day? I mean, I would still, if I was Dawn, that's why she's lurking around so much. She's still trying to make up for that day.
She's constantly just on the sidelines like, you want to see how long I can go hold my breath?
Hey, you remember that day? It was really crazy. I had just come in from Sri Lanka, spider bite. It was crazy. Let me show you.
It was crazy.
So she's saying that she can do this, and then eventually she can be kind of this manager of this, like, again, 5-6 person team. And she's just really ambitious in that sense, but I don't really know how that would change anything because they're all their own individual specialist.
She also has yet to be able to do what she does. So
she hasn't been able to do what she does. So in this episode, we get to see what Dawn does.
And then she goes to Jessie and she spins it a completely different way. She weaves a different tale and she's like,
the reason your intervals are off, it's not because of your stroke. And you know all about it? It's my field. It's what I do. And I do it well. You need to restructure everything you're doing and you need more road work. It doesn't matter. If I race, I'm off the team. There's no chance that Sean's going to change his mind. Well, I talked to Sean, so if there was no chance, would I be here talking to you?
And Jessie kind of looks at her like, what the hell do you do? Like,
right. Everyone's still at this point like, what do you do?
Yeah, what? Okay.
Jessie also emphasizes.
And what about my sponsor, Bally Total Fitness? I mean, they have been doing so much to help me, and I would hate to disappoint them with a poor showing.
Her sponsor is Bally Total Fitness, and she cannot let down Bally Total Fitness.
I told you Bally Total Fitness is my sponsor at Bally Total Fitness.
We see them walking into a Bally Total Fitness. Once they get in the Bally Total Fitness, Dawn does what she does by hooking Jessie up to a lot of wires and a computer that is a physical exercise computer graphic.
I see what they were trying to do by like, oh, Dawn is an expert. She knows what this is doing. But literally she just kind of tapes like random strings to
like
Jessie.
Nodes, you know?
They don't, but they're not hooked to anything. And then there's just a bunch of wires.
No, they're hooked to the bodysuit. Like Jessie's wearing
I know they're hooked to the bodysuit,
leotard.
But like, you're wondering like, okay, what
but they're
is
not
that
touching
actually?
her skin.
They're not touching her skin.
Because if they're nodes, they should
like,
be on her
what
skin.
Is this measuring? Because they're on weird places. And it's like, okay, I know how heart rate is measured. And anyway, it's so funny because it's just like basically like mad scientist hooking up Jessie, which I guess you can do at a Bally Total Fitness.
She's using this computer program to run the numbers and see if she can break down Jessie's performance and what her physiological limitations are. And so after
so
Jessie doing a really cool montage.
Well, I give my everything and I don't expect you to walk me through the door, 'cause I ain't got no limitations. I just know I'll see it through. I ain't sending invitations to you.
Workout time.
Amazing song.
Golden spandex
in
out.
Bally's Total Fitness. So she tells her, like, I hate to tell you this. Number one, good news is you're in great physical shape. bad news is you will never win a triathlon. And Jesse's like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, I don't know how else to tell you this, but you are physically incapable of ever winning a triathlon. She has been looking at the numbers. So Jesse is super discouraged. And when they get back, Allie is...
Where they're all in their little matching skimpy little...
They're all wearing lingerie. Dawn's wearing her lingerie and a kimono because that's how Dawn rolls.
I love Dawn. She's international.
And Allie is really pissed because she's like...
We need to talk about something. Oh, you're going to hurt my feelings.
I might hurt more than that.
I trusted you to train Jesse. I thought you were going to do the best you could do. I didn't think that you had it in you to do a good deed. And now I'm right because Jesse's spirit is crushed and everything I ever thought about you is true and you are a weasel. And then 2 seconds later, Jesse walks in the door.
I'll take whatever you can do to give me that extra edge. You just do what you do and leave the rest to me. What do you say?
I say congratulations for finding your mental game. You didn't have it before. Jesse, that's why you were blowing your times. Don't get disappointed. Get pissed. Don't get upset. Go into a blind rage.
And at that moment, Dawn's like, Jedi Master. And she's like, that right there. That right there is a number the computer cannot measure. First of all, just to clear it up, Allie says, Dawn, I did not know that you had such Jedi powers. How did you know that this was going to motivate Jesse even more? And she's like, this is what I do.
This is what I do.
How many times do I have to say it? I do what I do. And Allie's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then the next day when they go to Bally's Total Fitness.
It's the best. They're at Bally's Total Fitness, hooked up back to the machines.
And you know what Dawn tells Jesse?
I keep studying the computer numbers and I found something. I think I can get you a 3% boost in your wind oxygen utilization.
She can get Jesse approximately 3%
more oxygen.
More oxygen. And with that edge, she will now become a viable option for the winner of the Xterra.
3% more oxygen. Dawn really is a doctor, a PhD of oxygen.
And she's like, 18 hours ago, I may have told you that there is absolutely no way on God's green earth, come hell or high water, that you will ever win a triathlon. Nothing will ever change that. But you know what? The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
I was doing what I do last night. 3% more oxygen.
I did what I did.
I'm sure
and
Jesse's
I did what I did.
Oh, 3% more oxygen like you needed when you passed out the first day you
That's
came.
what she should have said.
To train us, and you literally passed out in the pool and we had to save you as you were training us. You mean like that, Dawn?
That 3%?
That's what motivates. So Jesse does do the triathlon.
The whole team goes to Maui to watch the race.
Exactly.
And the climax of this episode is that just when the race is about to start, there is an emergency. And the Baywatch team, which has come to watch Jesse, there's no lifeguards on Maui. I don't know if you know this, but those 6 lifeguards just sort of like rotate through all the islands all the time. So no one else can save whoever is drowning. And in that moment, Jesse has a choice whether she wants to compete in the Xterra or whether she wants to join the team. And what does she choose?
It's a dilemma, you guys. It's a really hard dilemma. I mean, what would you choose?
Well, I would do what I do. And I would choose the team.
I'd do what I do, and I did what I did. And what do you guys think Jessie picks? Duh, she's a lifeguard. Lifeguards are always on duty. They're never off. She wants to be part of the team.
Yeah.
It means more to her than the triathlon, so she does it.
And she tells Sean, I think the training for this Xterra is really what it did was keep me focused on what I really want, which is the team. Which there's no logic from that whatsoever. Actually, all Sean had to say in that moment was,
Teamwork.
And then just walk away.
Anytime we fight and you're mad at me and you're like, Colin, why did you do this? I'm going to be like, Katie, teamwork. I'll just email you.
You know what? And the heavens will open and a peaceful dove will come down out of the sky.
Thanks for sticking in, guys. All right. Always saying sticking in. Okay, bye.
We're getting close. We're definitely getting close.